Hey, welcome to the Next Up podcast on Black Knight Nation. Perfect day, a perfect night for a podcast in the Northeast, at least. D'Ante, we got a lot of snow here, so perfect night to talk some Army football. I'm here with North Murray running back D'Ante Edwards-Tidwell and Newburgh Free Academy linebacker Tyler Rafferty. We're going to talk about their recruitment and their recruiting and then their commitment to Army football. Get into a conversation with them. First off, you can follow us everywhere on podcast everywhere. Give us a subscribe, and you can rate us and review us on Apple. And we're on YouTube Live also. First off, guys, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, first off, let's talk about we're going to talk individually with you about your recruitment. First off, we'll talk to Tyler a little bit. Tyler, Newburgh Free Academy is what, maybe 20-25 minutes for West Point. You kind of a local commit for them. First off, talk about your interest. When did your interest start in Army football, would you say?
Honestly, not until they started recruiting me. Obviously as a high school football player or even any football player, you want to make it to the highest levels you can. So everybody has their eyes set on the, Power 5 schools. But when they came in, I knew they were right down the road. I knew how great of a institution they were academically and everything. So with the pandemic happening and all that, like the timing of it all, I talked to Coach B about, whether I was going to wait or not. And he was like, look, man, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I just want you to be happy with, your decision and, not regret it afterwards. And after thinking for, I don't know, what was it, 3 months, I looked at what I had in front of me, and it was obvious that West Point was, the top school for me to go to. And I'm happy with my decision.
Nice. D'Ante, talk about your first interest in Army. I know that first Navy came with an offer for you. Talk about the whole recruiting process to start for you.
Well, Navy was the first one to offer me, and I really wasn't big on the Navy, the water part, But as soon as they offered me, they've talked to me every day. Made me feel like a family right off the bat, and and everybody's coming to me. Oh, you got West Point offer? That's a great place to go. I was like, yes, sir. And I started looking. Me and my dad did research and stuff, and that's where I wanted to go.
Yeah, guys, Tyler, what goes into a decision? What are the factors that you look at in colleges? Because you did have other options too. What went into the decision for you to choose Army? And you did it, I think, before your senior academic year started, right?
Yeah. There's a lot that goes into it. I know I said in a couple interviews that location really wasn't big for me. If a school came along that was far away, I wouldn't have a problem going there. But location for me, especially since it's right down the road, is big in the end because, family can come, friends can go watch the games. But, depending on what school it is, even though, for us, we're lucky enough to have scholarship offers to these Division I schools, but you go to West Point, you get a stipend, right? It's one of the top colleges in the country academically. Like I said, it's, Division I football. Like it checked all the boxes. So, that's what you're looking for a school, and it had everything.
D'Ante, what was on your checklist, so to speak, when you were making your decision for West Point? What were you looking at?
Really the offense. Me being a running back and the triple option, that's a running back's dream. And just the benefits that comes after, just fell in love with it.
Gotcha. You had now Tyler wasn't able to play football this fall in New York, but you were able to play football in Georgia. How much do you think that kind of helped you out in the recruiting process and to get maybe more, quote, film out there, so to speak?
Oh, a lot. The offense we had this year is based around me being a senior, how they always based around the seniors and stuff. I loved it. And it helped me get more film and just show what I can do. And that's what I had to do to show up when the time came.
Tyler, this guy scored 24 touchdowns in the fall.
And how many games?
Full season.
How many games?
I know they shortened our season, so I was just wondering, is it like 6, 8 playoffs? How many games?
8 and then playoff games. Yes, sir.
Nice. Nice.
What's going on in New York, Tyler? Are you guys going to get a chance to play now, or what's going on?
They passed it saying that New York can play high risk sports, but there's obviously like 3 other levels of like authority that have to give the okay before we can start practicing and everything. So it's going to come down to what our school says we can do. So we're still waiting.
That's crazy. I haven't played yet.
Yeah.
Are you gonna, if there is a season, are you gonna play? No doubt. Have you decided whether you're gonna play or not?
Yeah, I mean every kid wants to play their senior season of football. So I mean, if I have that option, I'm gonna take it.
Nice. Talking about Newburgh Free Academy, your school, there's been a couple players to go through Newburgh Free Academy to play at West Point. I know Kirk Bodison was back in the day, and David Brooks recently. In the 2010 Armed Forces Bowl, had a big catch to seal the win for Army in the, I guess, at SMU. Is there? I mean, it seems like Newburgh is a destination for Army to recruit. I mean, did the familiarity with Coach Bianco and Army help out in the recruiting process a little bit? Or?
Yeah, I would say it helped a little bit. Obviously, I didn't need any help, or West Point didn't really need the help getting me to go there. But knowing the relationship that Coach B had with my recruiting coach, Coach John Luce, it felt good knowing that he trusted him. It allowed me to be able to trust him as well. And then talking to Steven Johnson, one of the former NFA and West Point grads, I mean, it was, people that I could trust the way they talked to me rather than just some recruiting coordinator that's, trying to get you to come to the school. It meant a lot. So that definitely helped a lot.
I forgot about Steven. Steven played a big role in helping Army break the streak to Navy a couple of years back, and is now serving in the military in the Army. Great guy. I mean, just a top shelf. Was a top shelf kid going into West Point and came out a top shelf officer at West Point. So great connection there. D'Ante, you didn't really have a lot of military connection,
No, sir.
Right, at all.
No, sir.
What do you think the commitment on the military side? Have you thought about that yet? What that means? What that will mean to you?
Yes, sir. I've always wanted to serve for my country. I always want to be that person to help my country out.
Gotcha. We have to talk about your speed real quick.
Yes.
You said that you run a 4.38 Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When you're younger and you're starting to play like even like youth football, is that evident, or is speed is that something that came like as you played a little bit more?
Yeah, I've always been fast. I guess my mom blessed me with the legs.
Gotcha. Yeah, you talked about you gave me a scoop a little bit when we were chatting the other day about I guess when you were born, right? You were talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was born with extra fingers and toes. As soon as I came out the womb, they cut them off and they super glued them. They super glued my skin back.
Wow.
Yes,
that's not why you joked around and said that's maybe where you got your skin from or something like that.
That's what I tell people.
Nice. Let's talk about to both of you about where the program is right now. I mean, yeah, it was you both of you had to deal with the pandemic in different ways, right? And Army this year, they were faced with a schedule in 2020 that they had to move around and get 12 games out of, and to have 9 wins. First, Tyler, how closely did you follow what Army was doing, and how impressed were you with the way everything was handled?
Yeah, I mean, I was very impressed. I watched every game, and I know talking to Coach Luce, he would call me most weeks, and we would talk about, the weeks ahead or the previous game. And then with the whole schedule issue that happened and teams not wanting to play them, this and that, it was definitely interesting to see how they handled that. And it was good to see them come out 9-3.
Yeah. D'Ante, how closely did you follow them this season and what they were able to do? What do you think? What kind of program you think you're getting into?
I didn't catch all the games, but the ones I did, I loved it. After every game, almost every game, I text Coach Mock and tell him good luck.
Did you get a response, or do you get a response to those texts?
After the game, we did.
Does he mention like the black flag mentality and that kind of stuff, or just what do you guys think about the way they? I mean, this every year you watch Army, and I've watched them for a long time, about the energy level that the team plays at. That's got to be, as a future player, that's got to be really cool to watch. I'm guessing about the intensity that they bring to the field every game, right?
Yes, sir, for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Tyler? Just about getting into.
Yeah. Speaking on the energy part, I would say definitely. I know Coach Luce has sent me videos of the team in the locker room after games, and I mean, you could just tell it's insane. And not only like energy during games, but like the brotherhood. You see that a lot about West Point.
Yeah.
It's just, you can tell between recruits following each other back and forth, retweeting each other's posts. I mean, I don't do a lot of retweeting, but building a bond before we even get there. It's like you could tell that we're going to be brothers. So I feel like that's huge, and I love that about West Point.
Yeah.
Gotcha. D'Ante, you were talking about Tyler. You've already signed in December. D'Ante, you were talking about what's your situation now, because signing day is coming up on Wednesday. Technically, that's the official day, but you were talking about maybe you might have to postpone it a few days, possibly because of what's
Yeah, I
going
had
on.
talked to the athletic director, and we got it all worked out, and I'm signing Wednesday at 2. Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Tyler, how big of a day was that for you when you were able to do that?
It was big. It wasn't as big as I had thought it would be because of previous signing days had been with the whole coaching staff at the school, and because I live in New York and all the restrictions and everything, I could only go to my head coach's house, and we had to wear masks. So I mean, it was fun, but it wasn't as grand as I thought it would be.
What's going on Wednesday for you, D'Ante? Are you going to do that to school or no?
Yes, sir. We're doing it. Well, usually it's tradition that they do it in the library, but since all the people and they want everybody all close and stuff, we're doing it in the cafeteria. Yes, sir.
For both of you guys, what's been kind of the hardest part about this year for your senior year of football, like just getting through the pandemic? What do you think's been the most difficult part for you guys?
Almost feeling like you can't play because some games, because you never know, they could stop the season right then and have not playing anymore. Like him, though, I feel bad for him. He ain't even played yet. So
yeah, definitely, that's definitely been the hardest part, because I've been, senior season, the prep that gone into it. Like, I've been working harder than I've ever worked to have my senior season. So it feels like I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting and lifting and training for all these months, and I mean, I'm not going to say it's all for nothing, but it's just going to have to wait to be seen, my progress to be seen for the next level. I won't get that last year of high school football.
Yeah, I've talked to you before about this, Tyler. I mean, it's not easy, and you look at you like you said, D'Ante, you got a chance to play, in the fall, and like you said, yeah, there could have been the time where the games might have been, you were going probably day to day almost, on whether you were going to play or not. In New York, Tyler, I don't know. I just, I think that there was an opportunity in the fall, and I know you can't say this. I'll just say it. There was an opportunity in the fall to possibly play when the numbers were down, and it just didn't happen. And I hope you guys get a chance, because you 100% definitely deserve to finish your high school career on the field, and not waiting around and wondering. And I hope, even if it's the spring, even if it's a couple games, I hope you guys get a chance. What's going to happen after both of you guys, after your high school is up? Tyler, first off, are you going to go? Do you know yet if you're going to be going to Army or Army prep yet?
Talking to Coach Luce, he believes I will be a direct Army guy, but I don't think that will change. But I we'll see what happens. I'm definitely open for whatever they have in store for me.
Gotcha. D'Ante, have you been told like where you might be heading?
Not yet.
Yeah, it's kind of on the early side, but I mean, even that Army prep year, certainly helps. I don't know. Have you talked to Stephen Johnson about that, Tyler, about the Army prep year, or no?
Yeah, a little bit. I know he actually taught at the prep school for, I'm not sure if it was 1 year or how long he taught, but I do know that he taught at the prep school. So we talked a little bit about that, but other than that, no, we haven't really haven't really spoken much about it.
Yeah, it's crazy just following Army recruiting. It's so different. It's a national program, right? I mean, they're recruiting across the country. I lost track of how many states are going to be represented in this 2021 class. I think there's like 27 states that are represented, and you have California kids, you have East Coast kids, Northeast like Tyler, yourself, and D'Ante, Georgia, man. You got to know a couple of these commits, right? From these 2021 commits, D'Ante, because there's like 16 or 17 from the state of Georgia. Have you played against any of the guys that have committed to Army or no?
No, sir, I don't think so. But actually, the Florida versus Georgia game, I was roommates with one of the running backs that's going.
Really? Who's that?
Philip Johnson.
Oh, cool. Yep, absolutely. So when did you recently play that, or when was that Florida?
Yes, sir. About 2 weeks ago.
Wow, what was that experience like?
It was great. It was great. It was a great experience.
He was your teammate, right?
Yes, sir. He was my teammate. We actually roommates too.
Did you line up in the same backfield in that game?
No, we didn't. We didn't.
That's very cool. Yeah, Tyler, they have done like all-star games in New York in the past, and I don't know what's going to go on this year. I haven't heard anything, but be nice to get the kids together if possible. I'm thinking in the spring, maybe the vaccines are starting to get out a little bit. Maybe there'll be an opportunity to get you guys on the best of the best on the field, maybe in the state, possibly. Who knows? That would be something, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, nice. Just kind of to wrap it up, just wanted to basically talk about the coaching connections you guys had. Tyler, you mentioned a lot about Coach Luce, and to have that communication almost every week through your senior year, and I guess it just kind of gives you a little bit of, it gives you you're already in the football mindset, but it keeps you kind of going on football, right? When it wasn't there in the fall for you, that had to be a lot for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the connection with Coach Luce, that was, it made me feel like I made the right decision. And speaking on the coach's connection, being so close to West Point, even though I wasn't in the weight room when he came, Coach Monken actually showed up to NFA one day. I think it was about a year ago before I got my offer. I'm pretty sure it was. And I was running track. I was outside at track practice while he came. So I didn't get to meet him that day, but he came and took a look at my team and met Coach B and everything. So that was cool that he took his time to come up and visit my school.
Absolutely. I saw him at NFA a couple years back. His daughter was playing lacrosse for James I. O'Neill High School, and he was there watching his daughter play at NFA. So I don't know if that might have been the day, but yeah, I mean, he definitely, if you're local, he'll definitely get around to see it when it's permitted. D'Ante, you talked about the relationship you had with Coach Davis, right? Your recruiter.
Yes, sir.
What can you tell us about that and how that kind of developed?
It was great. Like, first day he called me, it was great. He just, God, it was great. I can't even.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Tyler, you been? I'm trying to remember. You been to an Army game before or no?
Yeah, I've been to a couple. Like I said, I wasn't like a big Army fanatic before I got the offer, but I've been down there. When I was a kid, I have a picture of me and I think it was Coach Mitchens, if I can remember. It was over, I think It was before Monken.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was real little. There's a picture of me and him in the indoor facility. So I mean, I've been to a couple games when I was real young, and then more recently I've been to a couple. But yeah, it's pretty cool being so close.
Yeah, can you let D'Ante know what it's like an Army football game is like in that environment?
Yeah, it's different from like any other big college football game. It feels like almost like what we feel getting recruited. It feels like a family. It's secluded. You get in, you come through the gates. It's like its own town. You got the reservoir. Every time they score, the cannon goes off. It feels like West Point when you're there, and it feels like a family throughout the game.
Yeah, I hate that I couldn't even make it to a visit or anything because of Corona.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that, D'Ante, but with your knack for scoring touchdowns, right? When you get up there, you got to be ready for that cannon to go off after you score, right? I mean, that's kind of shocks somebody that has never heard it before, right?
The fly-in too before the game. That's they jump out of the. Is it a helicopter or an airplane? I forget.
I think it's a helicopter. Yeah.
Yeah. So they jump out. There's a few of them, and one has a flag. They got flags. They land in the middle of the field. It's pretty cool.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, those are weather permitting, of course. If there's any wind involved, they won't do it. But I mean, when you see the game ball come in from an Army officer or Army cadet that's jumped out of a helicopter to bring it to midfield, I mean, that's
Yeah.
And have you got to Tyler? You haven't got to an Army Navy game, have you?
No, I have not.
Yeah, I mean those games, forget it. Like this year's was at Mikey Stadium, right? So nobody could go, nobody can watch. But when you have crowds of 65 to 70,000 at those games, I mean, just also D'Ante just playing pretty big Power 5 schools, right? I mean, they played Oklahoma, they played Ohio State and Michigan these last couple of years. Right. Next year, Wisconsin in 2021. Well, this year.
Yeah, I've already looked up at the schedules. Our class plays Tennessee, LSU, Syracuse.
Yeah, I've seen that.
We're loaded up, so should be fun.
Can you imagine playing a game at LSU, guys? I mean, that would be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. That's all I could say about that.
Yeah, and I think this year's Air Force game is going to be played at the Texas Rangers Stadium. So sometimes they do those, not those neutral site games too, which is pretty cool. And I was just following John Radigan last night. He played in that Hula Bowl All-Star game, the Army senior linebacker. And to think about it, last year the team went out to Hawaii to play a game. So I mean, sometimes you think about, should Army be in a conference? Well, when it's an independent schedule and you could play teams like LSU and teams like Tennessee, I mean, that's got to be a little bit attractive during recruiting, right? D'Ante, when you can see that those teams on the schedule?
Yes, excitement. Who wouldn't want to play?
No doubt. Hey, guys, I really appreciate the time tonight. Really, this was kind of an on-the-fly podcast. Really appreciate you joining us. D'Ante, all the best at signing on Wednesday. And
thank you.
Yep, Tyler, we'll look forward to you. I mean, before you know it, it'll be here, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Before you know it, you guys will be putting on the Army uniform for your first practices and getting ready to go. Thanks a lot. Thanks for everybody who was watching tonight. This was your Next Up podcast with D'Ante Edwards-Tidwell and Tyler Rafferty. Have a good night.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Sal.
Thank you for listening to the Black Knight Nation podcast with your host, Sal Interdonato. For more information on your Army Black Knights, visit BlackKnightNation.com. And be sure to subscribe, follow, rate, and review on your favorite podcast app.